One of my buddies that works for a major label, he said that TikTok changed their algorithm. He works for a major. He's head of A&R at a major label. And he said that they changed their algorithm back in July that wasn't favoring music as much, that there's a lot of talking videos on TikTok that are getting big, that they're pushing, right? And that the labels that were relying on getting their promotion from TikTok, it wasn't reliable anymore to have the viral videos. Do you know anything about this or no?
I don't, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's moving quicker than ever.
Right.
And it's like, how can you adapt? How can you change? Is the art that you're making, you know, going to stand the test of time through each platform?
Right.
You know, because there's people that like made Vines, and how long was Vine around for? You know what I mean?
Not long.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really weird because you see like incredible artists like Steve Lacy go play his concerts, and everybody really only knows like the 15 seconds of the thing, and then just do them really dirty on the rest of the song, and it's just like, whoa, like it's very odd, and it gets even weirder too with, I guess, on the subject of things changing really rapidly. With like me and Scott were talking about this yesterday, but like AI. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that here in the next few months, or next year, next few months, we're gonna have like riff generators that can generate Polyphia type riffs, and like, you know, it's like everybody's like curious as to like whether or not they're out of a job. Like, I see like copywriters no longer have a job, like because the AI can just generate copy. Yeah, I was just talking about it the other day. So me and Scott were with this artist, Break-Ins, the other day, and this kid is insane. I'll have to show you it. It's very cool musical stuff. But we were talking about how in like the 80s, 70s and 80s, when like hip hop kind of started, and like people were sampling records, and like I could imagine a vast majority of like music people were like, as it was a new form of creation and expression. Yeah. Kind of, well, you can't do that. That's somebody else's music.
I remember people saying that. Yeah.
And now it's like, well, how creative can you sample?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Pretty soon it's going to be how creative can you use the AI?
Right.
Like, and like it's going to be the next big artists are going to be who can prompt the best. And it's going to be a really weird thing to see. But of course, you know, like obviously, you know, the AI can never, well, who knows actually.
Well, go out and play live.
But the emotion that a human can channel into artwork, right? Because you look at a lot of the AI art, and it's very, you can tell that it's AI art. Yeah. It's very soulless, very just like, it almost looks like stock images.
So I looked at pictures of me, these AI pictures. Some of them look like they're, some look like actual pictures. They look like pictures, but you can tell they're not really pictures. And then some are kind of look like art, you know, that they're paintings or something, right? And I'm looking at it, it's like, and some of them will have a beard on me. It's like, that's not what my beard looks like.
Yeah, it's just like assuming. Dude, it's weird too, because you look at like FaceApp and whatever those things are, like you can make yourself have smiles, and it's like, bro, that's not my teeth. Like, right. And it's just really creepy because, you know, you're just adding a smile to a photo that you didn't have a smile, and it's just like, it's just really weird.
Okay, so when you were doing, I'm going to totally change the topic here. Yeah. When you were doing your Playing God playthrough video, YouTube video, you were doing the track breakdown, and then you played your Omnisphere patch with the arpeggiator, okay? And then you showed what that was, and you said, this is really hard to learn, but you did. Yeah. I mean, it was really, can you play some of those riffs like that, and what is that stuff that you would never come up with unless you were trying to do this, or what?
I mean, they're very unnatural patterns.
Right.
Because, you know, if you were going to...
Can you demonstrate a couple of it?
So...
Tell me about the things that are unnatural to play on that.
So you've got this, just
Tim, this is why it freaks me out when I watch your playing when you do because you have so many different things going on here. You have a sweep into a hybrid pick into a hammer on from nowhere.
Yes.
So
it does all the techniques.
It does all the techniques really fast.
Yeah.
And one after another. Just do that slowly.
So
though,
we've got
there's the sweep
to the hybrid.
Sweep to hybrid. Now, Tim, that is so. But you have an upstroke. You do an upstroke on the low E string, though, right?
Yeah.
That is really. Then you're immediately back down, I think, on the D or something like that in that lick. So it's really. Do you even think about it? If you think about it, does it screw you up?
Yeah, I can't. The idea is that, like, you practice it enough to where you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I can play it with my eyes closed on stage while, like, engaging with the crowd, then that's the way that it needs to be. Because if I think about it, I will mess it up.
Yeah.
But
and then you'll put taps in too. So then you'll have like
Yeah, and then like the harmonics. And it's the pattern is just weird because versus like, and then it goes. So the notes are just.
Yeah.
But you're just like switching, like the way that the arpeggiator works is I think it just randomizes like in which order they come in. And so when you memorize the arpeggiator, it's like very unnatural. And so
that's what makes it sound so cool, though.
Yeah, and it gives it a very interesting timbre to it, I suppose.
When you did the and you guys should watch Tim's video breakdown of the song. I'll play it in a second. I'll play the song, but you also show where you do you take a section of your guitar and put it up the octave, like a doubling.
Yeah.
And when you do the pitch change in an Ableton, you're doing an Ableton. So you use a certain setting. What is the setting that you use? Do you use a setting?
Oh, I change it from the warp mode.
Yeah.
From Beats to Complex Pro. And then I turn the formant all the way down. Okay,
and you do that because so you don't get artifacts?
I do get artifacts.
So you do get artifacts. That's why you do it.
Artifacts.
That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, because it gives it a really interesting.
That's what makes it sound so the
like
doubling
crystals
of it sounds
or something. You know what I mean? Like especially when you put it up the octave, it gives it the chipmunk crystals effect. And then, like what I like to do is I have the actual, in the center.
Yeah.
And then I'll double it. And this is how I get away with like not having to double track a lot because I'm lazy. I'll just double it and then throw it up the octave, do the pitch thing with the artifacts, and then spread it so that like
you'll spread that track wide, right?
So that one's like more ambient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it becomes like more of an effect. And then you can put just like a tad delay or tad reverb on that one so that you've got like the punchiness of the main one.
That's in the center, that's down in the regular octave. Yeah.
Like
and then you have the octave up.
Where you would hear like vocals or the bass or something, you know what I mean? And then the octave up kind of acts like atmosphere and or backing vocals.
Yeah. This is kind of like playing the AI, so this is really interesting. So when you're creating stuff, this is really kind of one generation before the AI, right?
Yeah.
But this is actually using these plugins, and Omnisphere is one of the best plugins.
Yeah, it's a great one. In terms of the generation before AI, where you're kind of using anything to your advantage. And like I said, I guess it's like eventually it's going to be who can prompt the best.
Yeah.
But like producers now like just get really creative with how they use these plugins to create, not just like mix.
This is where people get mad at me on my when I do like the top 10 Spotify countdowns of the pop charts, and when I say nice things about the songs because I'm a producer first, and I know how hard it is to create really good sound design stuff like that, production things. It takes a lot of trial and error to do these things and come up with original sounds.
Yeah, it's also really odd too that a lot of what you're hearing on like the top 10 will have just like splice samples.
Yeah.
That's like the main loop.
Yeah, the drum loops will be,
Even the main loop, you know what I mean? Yeah. The main melodic thing will just be a splice sample. And, I guess it's good for producers who put their things on splice because it's a nice bag. Like, without having to get a placement. But then the one placement happens that pops, and you don't get that bag. You know, it's like you're trading one bag for the other, a guaranteed smaller bag or like the risky, huge bag. But
people that don't do this is interesting. So people that don't do music production, Splice is a platform, a sample platform that's been around for probably 10 years, maybe. I don't even know. No, maybe not that long. Maybe that long.
Maybe like 2013, 2014. Yeah. I guess it's 2023 right now.
Yeah, almost 2023. But it's been around, and it's for it has samples, one-shot samples, loops, all these different things, and it's a subscription thing, and people use this for production. It used to be that when I first started, that people around Atlanta back in 2000 would have their MPCs machines, and they would play the beats and things like that, and program them and stuff. And then it went to
people would get mad about that, I think. With
right.
With using a drum machine.
Right.